Welcome to our web exclusive. I'm Mike Montecalvo, along with Eyewitness News analyst Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio, breaking down the deal, General, between Iran and basically the world. There is a new research poll out. The Pew Research Center has said 38% of the people polled agree with the deal, 48% disapprove, 14 have no opinion. I always thought that no opinion would be a lot higher. Why do you think people have an opinion about the Iranian nuclear deal?
Several areas have to be clarified. Number one, no one really knows what the entire deal is all about, other than allegedly to keep Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. But there's many more tenets to that whole thing, and specifically the inspection schedule, the timetable, and the compliance with that. And that, I think, has somewhat of a remnants of our deal with Iraq several years ago. We went through the exact same thing. So therefore, you have some reluctance of the people that remember that. And I think that's the reason for it.
All right, so what type of authority does the Iranian government have at this point with this?
They have the authority to sign a piece of paper and to negotiate to come up with what they did. But the bottom line is they have no ultimate authority, as the spiritual leader of Iran does, Khomeini. He would say either yes or no, or we're going to comply or we're not going to comply. That's exactly what happened during the Iraqi regime, specifically because we said, you'll do this. So we said, well, we're not going to let you look at this. We're going to be here to look at your particular facility. Next week, no, we're going to push you off 3 weeks. That went on for a long, long time. So if that's the same approach that we take with this Iranian deal, we'll be back in the same deal that we had with Iraq.
Obviously, we're not going to see, the fruits of this deal for some time. But when the sanctions are lifted, what can they buy at that point? They
can buy, in essence, most things, specifically conventional weapon systems that would give them additional access to billions of dollars, where they would be able to access weapon systems either from China, Russia, and perhaps even North Korea. If you look at it realistically, and I'm looking at it from an analytical point of view, if you're going to develop a nuclear weapon and you don't have a means to deliver it, you would think that you would want a means to deliver it and then develop it. That's exactly what we have a possibility of happening here. Because once those sanctions are lifted, they can, in fact, purchase weapon systems to include intercontinental ballistic missiles and other weapon systems that would give them an offensive capability. And then you put a nuclear weapon on top of it, and you are exactly where we're fearful that they would be.
Well, Secretary of State John Kerry is briefing members of Congress on Wednesday. The president didn't have to go through Congress for this deal.
No, he did. This is not a treaty, as I understand it. This is an agreement, meaning that if you do this, we'll do this. If you don't do this, we won't do that. Bottom line is the sanctions hurt the economy of Iran significantly. Iran is playing the game in reference to saying, well, we'll comply with a level of enriched uranium. We'll have so many enrichment facilities, but you can't go on our bases. You can't do this, you can't do that, and we'll comply with this. I'm concerned that we will be, as I said earlier, right back where we were with Iraq. If the Khomeini has the ultimate authority and not the Iranian government, he could very well say, I don't like this deal, we're not going to do it. And we're already down the road with releasing all the sanctions that were placed on it to begin with.
Well, the deputy foreign minister in Iran says the diplomats did discuss the case of Americans still being held captive in Tehran. Why do you think that deal never really took place?
I don't think probably because the Iranian spiritual leader didn't want it to be part of the negotiations. He saw two different issues. I looked at that as a separate issue, didn't want to commingle it, so to speak, and the negotiators said, okay, we're not going to go there, and they didn't.
All right, switch gears real quickly, General, before we run out of time. A wanted terrorist believed to be plotting attacks in the United States. He's one of the top leaders for al-Qaeda, was killed. He was very close to Osama bin Laden. What does that mean?
What it does is gives them a little bit of a setback in reference to the chain of command and who has the next seat, so to speak. So what we're talking about is when someone of high visibility goes out, it's a psychological blow to ISIS versus anything else, because someone is ready to step into that position and continue whatever that particular organization wants to do.
There was a $7 million bounty on him. He was killed in an airstrike in Syria. General, thank you for your thoughts, and thanks for watching.